Hi everyone, I am Jackie and I'll be taking you through a Vinyasa practice this morning. You could take a seat on your mat, come to a comfortable seat. If you'd like to sit on a block for more comfort, you're welcome to do that. Today I'd like to offer an intention of stability, and in this sequence, we're going to be working toward a challenging pose. We're going to be working toward plow pose. And I invite you to find your stability as we build our strength toward that challenging pose. And as you do that, realize that you already have that stability. You simply need to pause and tune in to access it. So try to take comfort in that and explore the power of your stability, but also your limitations. We don't want to push ourselves too hard and lose our stability. So find your balance today. And it may be different than yesterday, and it may be different tomorrow. But where is that today? Somewhere between, not quite past your limits, but, pushing yourself and feeling the power that you have inside. So let's take a moment and think about that stability and know that you have it inside of you, and that this practice is going to arouse it and manifest it and bring it out into the world. Take a couple of natural breaths here, absorbing this intention if it resonates with you. If not, feel free to come up with your own intention. Whatever you need today. From here, I'm going to invite you to take a few deep breaths into your belly. Place your hand on your belly and start to breathe into your hand. And now breathe into the sides of your abdomen. Breathe into your back. Now bring it all together into a 360-degree breath. Breathe into your whole abdominal canister. Feel its strength holding you up. This is where your stability is going to start from. Take a deep breath in into all sides of your abdomen. Hold that tension as you exhale, so you maintain that stability. And practice this a few times. One more breath. Inhale. Exhale. Nice. Remember that canister as we go through the practice. Now I invite you to swing your legs around. Oh no, I'm sorry. We're going to do a couple stretches here. Place your hands on the mat on either side of you. And then tip your right ear toward your right shoulder. Inhale, back off a little bit, and exhale, deepen. If this feels good, you can start to walk your left hand away from the body ever so slightly to get a little bit more of a stretch. Return to center and bring your left ear to your left shoulder. Inhale, back off. Exhale, deepen. And walk your right fingertips away from your body if you'd like. return to center. And do a few shoulder shrugs. So let's bring your shoulders up towards your ears and back down. Since we're working toward plow pose, we want to warm up those shoulders. So up and down. Maybe do a few circles. Reverse the direction. Do one at a time. Very nice. From this seated position, place your hands on your knees and broaden across the chest into a little bit of a cow pose. You can use your hands on your knees to get a little bit greater stretch. And then we're going to reverse the motion, round your back for a cat pose. Go back and forth with ease. Just starting to warm up the spine with a little bit of flexion and extension. Inhale, open the chest. Exhale, around the back. One more round. Inhale, open the chest. Exhale, round the back. Return to center. Now I invite you to swing your legs around and come to a tabletop position. Find your base really spread across your fingertips and feel steady. Your wrists are directly under your shoulders, your knees are below your hips and they're hip width distance apart. Feel really stable in this position, right? Let's bring some movement into it. Bring your right hand into your chest and twist open to the right side of your mat on an inhale. Exhale, we're gonna bring your right elbow to your left elbow. So exhale, touch elbows. Inhale, open back up. Exhale, touch elbows. Inhale, open up. And this time, you can extend your right hand up to the sky to open up through your chest. And on an exhale, thread your hand through your left arm and hover it over the mat. Inhale, open back up to the right side of your mat. Exhale, thread through, and you can place your right shoulder on the mat for thread the needle. If it's in your practice, you can take your left hand and extend it forward to allow a little bit more motion in your upper body, if that feels good. As long as you can maintain the integrity of the pose. And breathe. If your arm is extended, replace your left hand down by your face, press into all fingers, open up to the right side of your mat one more time, and replace your hand to the mat. We'll do that same sequence on the other side. So bring your left hand to the chest and open to the left side of your mat. Exhale, touch elbow to elbow. Inhale, back open. Exhale, bring elbow to elbow. Inhale, back open, and you can extend your arm up to the sky. Exhale, thread it through and hover your hand. Inhale, back up. Exhale, thread it through and place your left shoulder on the mat. And extend your right arm if you did so on the first side. Come back to that 360-degree breath to keep your core as your stability in this pose. Take a couple breaths. Return your right hand by your face, press into all 5 fingers, lift back up, open to the side of your mat, and return to tabletop. Pressing into all corners of your hands, pressing your feet into the mat, and engaging your core with that 360-degree engagement. Begin to hover your knees off the mat. Further engaging that core, Really feeling it support you. One more breath. Inhale. Exhale down to the mat. From this position, we're going to walk our hands to the front of our mat, keeping our hips over our knees, beginning to lower our chest down to the mat for puppy pose. Really opening up the chest here. Again, breathe. This pose can be very challenging. Only go as deep as is comfortable for you today. And place your chin or your forehead on the mat and breathe. Press into your hands and begin to walk your hands back toward your face, toward your knees, and all the way back to your feet. Let's curl your toes under. Come to the side so you can see. Curl your toes under and grab the bottoms of your feet. And when you feel good here, place the top of your head on the mat as close to your knees as you can, like so. And then with the strength of your arms, begin to curl to round your back into rabbit pose. So we're really broadening across the back and opening those shoulders. And breathe. On your next exhale, release your grip, place your hands to the mat, and control yourself back up to a tabletop position. Swing your legs around and bring them out in front of you for staff pose. Breathe here, grow tall, and let's just check back in with our core. Make sure that it's still on and it's still the source of our stability. Bend your right knee and bring your foot towards your chest, and then let your knee fall open. So now you're in a seated tree pose. Square your hips to your left foot. Inhale, grow tall. Bring your hands up to the sky. Feel strong. Exhale, with a flat back, start to bend over your straight leg. Inhale, back up. Exhale, bend over your straight leg. Inhale, back up. And this time, exhale all the way down, rounding your back if that feels good. Placing your hands wherever is comfortable. On your thigh, on your shin, on your foot, on the mat. Make it feel good. Take a couple rounds of breath. On your next inhale, come back up to seat. We're going to swing our right arm and place it behind us. And then on your next inhale, swing your left arm up and over as you lift your hips up to the sky for a modified wild thing. Breathe strong here. Inhale, slow exhale. Inhale, stay. Exhale, come all the way back down. Very nice. We're going to switch sides, so extend your right leg out straight. Bend your left leg close to your hips. Let it fall open for a seated tree pose. Inhale, tall. Feel that core. Exhale, flat back, fold down toward your straight leg. Inhale, back up. Exhale, fold. Inhale up one more time. And exhale, fold all the way down. In any seated forward fold, make sure you're pressing your thigh and your leg into the mat for some stability. Inhale back up to seated. Swing your left arm behind you and place it on the mat. And lift your hips up to the sky for a modified wild thing. Your next exhale, come all the way back down and return to staff pose. Bend both of your knees now and place your feet about a foot distance from your hips. And place your hands behind your knees. Strengthen through your core. Begin to lean back until just the tips of your toes are on the mat for boat pose. We'll breathe here for a second in this modified boat, really tuning into our core and making sure we can maintain the integrity of our 360-degree breath. Come back down to the mat. Now place your hands behind your body, fingers pointing towards the top of the mat. Press through all four corners of your feet and lift your hips up to the sky for reverse tabletop. We'll just take one breath here. Broadening across the chest. Exhale back down to the mat. We're going to go into boat pose once again. So place your hands behind your knees. Engage your core, start to lean back, and maybe this time your toes come off the mat and you balance a little. Maybe you begin to lift your legs. Maybe you release your hands forward. Maybe you straighten your legs. This is where I'm at today. I'm starting to lose a little stability, so I'm going to bring my feet down a little bit so I can keep the integrity of my core. Breathe. If you're rounding your back, come out of it just a little bit. One more breath. Inhale. Exhale down to the mat. Let's reverse that movement again. Hands behind the back. Feel all four corners of your feet and press your hips up to the sky into reverse tabletop. And exhale down to the mat. Very nice. We're going to swing our legs around, come into a regular tabletop position, ground down through your hands and through all four corners of your palms. Curl your toes under, engage your core, pike your hips up into your first downward facing dog for the day. So let's check back in with our stability here. How are you feeling? How's your strength? Can you maintain that 360-degree breath? Find your stability in this familiar pose. You can walk it out, bending one knee and then the other to find your balance for today. Remember, what's that limit for you today? Very nice. Ground down through your right foot. And on an inhale, lift your left leg up into the sky for three-legged dog. Exhale, bring your knee to your nose. Inhale, back up to three-legged dog. Press through that heel. Knee to nose. Press back into three-legged dog. Knee to nose. Hover, 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 and then step your foot between your feet. pivot your back foot so that it's parallel with the back of your mat, and then windmill up into star pose. You're going to swing your left foot around to be perpendicular, or parallel, I'm sorry, with the front and back of your mat. So we'll be in star pose. Feel your strength here. Pressing down through the outer edge of your feet to build that energy up from the ground, through your core, and out through your hands. On an exhale, bring your hands behind your back and clasp your hands if you can, or you can grab your wrists or your elbows. You can grab your shirt, whatever is accessible for you. And then from this position, bring your hands down your back so you expand across the chest. Breathe. And on an exhale, start to forward fold, keeping the clasp of your hands. And we'll breathe here. One full round of breath. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale one more time. Exhale, release the clasp and place your hands on the mat. Come to a halfway lift with a flat back. And on an exhale, we're going to pivot to the front of the mat. Pivot both of our feet facing forward and frame our front foot with our hands for a lunge pose. Find your stability here. In lunge. And breathe. Very good. On an inhale, find your stability and sweep your hands up for a high lunge. Press your left shin to the front of the room and your left hip back to square your hips to the front of the mat. And bring your hands up overhead. And just breathe here. Inhale, exhale, reframe your front foot and step back into downward facing dog. Find stability here, very good. Ground down through your left foot and lift your right leg up to the sky. In three-legged dog, ensure that you're pressing your heel to the back of the room and you have even weight distribution through your hands. On an exhale, bring your knee to your nose. Inhale, back up. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, back up. Exhale, knee to nose and hold. Hold, step through, pivot both feet and open up to the left side of your mat in star pose. Remember to press through the outsides of your feet so that your entire leg is engaging, your hips are neutral, your core is strong, and you're rising up from this stable base. Inhale, exhale, bring your hands behind your back, and this time try to switch the grip that you had. So place the funny way of clasping your hands, or place your opposite hand on top if you were grasping your arms or your wrists. So now once again, bring your arms down to the ground. As you expand across the chest, feel that opening. Very good. Exhale, begin to forward fold, bringing that arm package overhead to continue opening up that chest. On your next exhale, release the clasp, bring your hands to the mat, come to a halfway lift. Exhale, pivot to the front of the mat to a lunge position. Try to make sure that you have evenness in both of your, even weight in both of your feet. If you feel your belly resting on your thigh in this position, try to lift out a little bit further. Find stability, and on an inhale, come up to standing with your hands up to the sky. Feel your hamstring opening, and again, try to square your hips to the front of the mat. Return your hands to the mat to frame your feet. This time, step your right foot up to meet your left foot, so we're in a forward fold position. Hang here for just a moment to check back in with yourself after we did a little bit of warming poses. On an inhale, bend deeply into your knees and begin to stand up vertebrae by vertebrae until we're in easy standing pose. From here, we're going to move into eagle pose. So if you need any props to help you with this, maybe a block for under your foot, you can grab those now. Otherwise, let's ground down through your left foot and raise your right leg up to a 90-degree position. And let's hold here for a second, building some strength. When you're ready, you can cross your left leg over your right leg and place it as a kickstand down next to your other foot. Then bring your arms out to a T. And on an exhale, give yourself a hug, bringing your right arm underneath your left arm, and breathe in eagle pose. I invite you here, if you like, you can wrap your foot once or twice, come into eagle arms if you'd like. If you've wrapped your foot, maintain the integrity of your core. And if you've wrapped your arms, bring palm to palm, lift your elbows up to shoulder height, and try to bring your arms away from the body. Breathe. Exhale, stay. Inhale. Exhale, release. Nice. Let's ground down through your right foot this time. Lift your left foot up to a 90-degree angle. You can place your hands on your hips or to heart center. Let's just find some balance and some stability here. Find a drishti point if you need one. And exhale, cross your left leg over your right leg and kickstand it. Inhale, arms open. Exhale, give yourself a hug, this time left arm underneath right arm for eagle pose. If you wrapped your foot on the other side and you'd like to now, I invite you to do that. And you can take eagle arms if that feels good for you. Really broadening across the back. These will be important muscles in our peak pose. So feel how they can support your upper body. And they're really very strong muscles. And sit back a little further. And your next inhale, open up, release, come back to standing. Very nice. Ground down into both feet. Begin to bend your knees as you engage your core and try to draw your tailbone down. Sit back into chair pose. Your hands out front. And you can raise your hands if that feels good. Feel the stability starting at your feet, coming up through your legs. Sit a little deeper. Check in with your knees. Ensure they're pointing in the same direction as your feet. Inhale, stay, exhale, release to standing. Very nice. We're going to now inhale your hands overhead, palms touch, bring them down through heart center, begin to fold all the way down to forward fold. You should be feeling pretty warm at this point. Place your hands on the mat, step back into high plank, and you can lower your knees or begin to lower yourself slowly all the way down to your belly. Bring your hands down by your sides and your forehead to the mat. On your next inhale, we're going to press your feet into the mat and begin to lift your hands off the mat. Just your hands. So press down into the tops of your feet, roll your shoulders onto your back, engage your core, and on an inhale, lift your hands off the mat and explore how that feels, how it engages your back. If you feel your hips or your ribs pressing into the mat, engage your core. Breathe. Exhale back down to the mat. This next time, we're going to lift our hands and our chest. So again, press the tops of your feet into the mat to engage your legs and your glutes, and turn on your core, and on an inhale, lift your chest and your hands, reach back toward your feet, and breathe. Inhale, exhale down to the mat. This last time, we're going to lift everything. We're going to lift our hands, our chest, and our feet into locust pose. So this time, it's going to be critically important that we both engage our core and ensure that our shoulders are rolled onto our backs. So take a deep breath. And on your next inhale, lift everything off the mat. Keeping your legs engaged, your glutes are on, your core is on, your shoulders are on your back, and your arms are energized. Your gaze is cast down softly. Breathe. One more inhale. Exhale down to the mat. Very nice. Put your hands by your low ribs and press yourself up to a tabletop position and find a seated position. We are going to come onto our backs and into plow pose next. If you have any contraindications or back issues, or you don't want to come into the full expression of plow pose, at this time I invite you to put a chair behind your mat or a block, and that will help you in plow pose, because you can put your feet onto that prop rather than trying to extend them all the way back to the ground. So get those props ready and then meet me on your back. All right. On your back, bend your knees and bring your feet close to your hips. Place your hands down on the mat, palms down, and feel the grounding of your hands on the mat. Roll your shoulders onto your back, feel your back on the mat, and trust that the earth is going to be there to hold you and help build your stabilization. Speaking of stabilization, let's check back in with our core. Let's take another round of that 360-degree breath. So breathe in to all sides of your abdomen. Hold that tension and exhale. Let's do one more. Inhale to the front, the sides, and the back of your core. Hold that tension and exhale. Very nice. From here, again, place your hands on the mat on your sides, palms facing down, and bring your knees into your chest. On your next inhale, we're going to extend our legs to the sky and roll our lower back off the mat and catch it with our hands for shoulder stand. So on an inhale, legs to the sky, using your palms, press your legs up into the sky, catch your low back for some support. Now check in here. Make sure this feels good. Don't be crunching your neck. Keep your neck long. Keep the pose out of the neck and breathe. Feel good here. Core is on and helping you in this position. On an exhale, slowly begin to let your legs come over your head and start to come behind you. Very, very controlled. They can come to your prop or to the ground. From this position, feel your hamstrings opening. If there's any discomfort in your neck, slowly come out of this position. Otherwise, enjoy the feeling of plow pose. We'll take a couple breaths here. One more full round of breath. On an inhale, be sure you're holding your back and begin to bring your legs slowly back up into shoulder stand. And then lower vertebrae by vertebrae as slow and controlled as you can. Return your back to the mat. Take all the time you can. That was some intense flexion. So be kind to yourself as you come out of it and return your knees to your chest. Give yourself a little hug. Feel the effects and the intensity washing over you. Replace your feet to the mat, except put your feet as wide as the mat and let your knees knock into each other. This is going to let our lower back release, which it's definitely asking for after such an intense pose. So let's breathe. Very, very nice. Whatever you got to in that position is spectacular. Bring your hands out to a T and start to windshield wipe your legs. So let them fall over to the left and to the right, back and forth. Let's bring some movement back into our lower half. Some side to side movement. Return to center. Bring your left knee into your chest and cross your left ankle over your right knee. Using your left hand, you can gently guide your right knee away from the body in this supine pigeon pose. On an exhale, let your whole leg package fall over to the right side of your mat for a supine twist. Let your left arm come to a T and look out to that left hand if that feels good. And again, you can use your right hand to guide your knee gently away from your body. Your next inhale, engage that core again and return to center. Replace your right foot to the mat and we're going to switch it up. Right leg into the chest. Cross your right leg over your left knee. Guide that right knee away. And then let the whole package fall to the side of your mat. Arm to a T and look out to your hand if that feels easeful for you, and guide that knee away. Next inhale. Bring everything back to center. Replace your right foot to the mat. Bring the soles of your feet together and let your knees fall open to the sides of the mat for Supta Baddha Konasana. In this position, if you have any discomfort, you can place blocks under your knees, or if you don't have blocks, you can use your fists and place them right underneath your thighs to give yourself a little bit more support in this position and still let that release happen. If you're comfortable here, I welcome you to close your eyes and enjoy Shavasana from Supta Baddha Konasana. Otherwise, straighten your legs out to the end of your mat. Take them as wide as your mat. Take up space. Bring your hands to your sides. Give them a little bit of space. Check in with your body and see how it feels now. That core that we worked on, your whole body. Bring your shoulders down your back a little bit and relax everything. Let it all go. Let go of everything we just did. Let's take a deep inhale. Open mouth, exhale. One more time. Inhale. 360 degrees. Open mouth, exhale. Let it all go. Worked really hard. Let your legs, just your feet fall open to the sides of your mat. Let your arms be loose. Release any tension you feel in your hips or in your chest. Relax your throat, your jaw. Relax any tension you're holding in your face. And your cheeks. Your tongue. Let the back of your head kind of melt into the mat. Shavasana. begin to return your awareness to the room that you're in now. Feel your contact with the mat where you meet the earth. Find your breath again. Feel the expanse, the contraction of your breath. Begin to bring some movement back into your body by wiggling your fingers and wiggling your toes, your wrists and your ankles. On an inhale, extend your arms up overhead to the top of your mat. Take a full body stretch from fingertips to toes. Exhale, roll to your side and pause. In this moment, thank yourself for your effort, for the work you put forward today, and remember that stability that you have inside. Remember that it's always there for you to return to. You simply need to pause and find it through movement, through meditation, through gratitude. It's always there for you. And let that wash over you. When you're ready, place your hand on the mat and press yourself up to a seated position with your eyes closed or letting a little bit of light into your eyes. Have a soft gaze toward the ground. And find a seated position. How does your breath feel now? How does it feel different from when we started? Bring your palms to your sides and inhale your hands up overhead, gathering all the energy that we've created today. Palms touch. Exhale down through heart center. Take 3 cleansing breaths here. Take an inhale, and on your exhale, exhale all negativity. Take another inhale, and on your exhale, exhale all sickness, body and mind. Take one more inhale, and on your exhale, exhale all obstacles to the rest of your day. I'd like to close with this offering. May all beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering, and may all beings know happiness and the causes of happiness. Thank you for practicing with me.